Today on Upfront, big changes at the University of Wisconsin. Next, the plan to merge the 2- and 4-year campuses. System President Ray Cross on why he says it's needed and the impact on students and staff. Plus, Democratic candidate for Governor Matt Flynn on why he's joining an already crowded primary race. And the Wisconsin Technical College ramping up for Foxconn.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Upfront. We begin today with big changes being proposed for the University of Wisconsin system. President Ray Cross wants to merge the system's 2-year campuses with the 4-year institutions. The 13 2-year schools would, in effect, become branches of the larger and nearest university. For example, UW-Waukesha and UW-Washington County and West Bend would join UW-Milwaukee. Cross says it's a way to address declining enrollment for the 2-year schools while not closing any of those campuses. The plan goes to the Board of Regents for approval next month, and System President Ray Cross joins us today on Upfront. President Cross, good to have you back on the program.
Thanks, Mike. It's nice to be here.
So you talk about the reasons for this and declining birth rate, aging demographics. But my question is, how does merging campuses change that?
Yeah. It certainly doesn't increase the birth rate,
right,
which would obviously impact demographics. What it does do is align us better to retain those campuses in communities that are struggling with the demographics. As you probably know, the projected 18 to 64-year-old range of people, that's declining, and I shouldn't say declining, it's flat. I think the growth there over the next 30 years is expected to be about 0.4%. So how do we adjust and reorganize to bring more programs to those communities? So not just retain what we're doing, but expand services and access at a time when resources are perhaps the most challenged. Because the decline in enrollment in those campuses directly impacts their revenues. We're increasingly tuition dependent, and they feel at the first, they're on the front line of this demographic change, Mike.
But would you anticipate that merging campuses would actually increase enrollment?
In this way. So what we do know is that more students need more bachelor's degrees, and these institutions are transfer institutions. So we're trying to manage the access by expanding the kind of programs we bring to those campuses structurally. So I expect to see more baccalaureate degrees brought to these campuses, serving some of these communities. This expands the reach of the 4-year institutions directly into these communities. So we may not grow a lot of enrollment, but hopefully we will grow 4-year graduates through this process.
Are we, let me be blunt about this, are we tinkering around the edges? Because you have some of these 2-year campuses where the student population is 50% smaller than it was in 2010. Enrollment in the 2-year campus is down 32%. Did you give serious thought to saying maybe we have to close some of these campuses? Maybe this business model just doesn't work anymore?
Certainly we did. We looked at closing a few campuses as options.
2- and 4-year institutions?
No, just two. Just two. Given the declines you just talked about, Mike, we actually looked at that. That just isn't a good option. Why? Those communities are already struggling, many of them, given the demographic changes, the loss of business and other things. The presence of the university in those communities is so important to their future, and we're committed to that. How do we provide the adequate services, adequate programs, adequate courses to meet the needs of folks in that community without pulling out? And that's part of the challenge. Restructuring, treating them as branch campuses and or centers in ways that allow the university to expand what they offer is an effort to address that.
Are there cost savings, significant cost savings in this? And if so, how do you do that? I assume that you must have some idea. If you're talking about streamlining or reducing staff, you must have some idea how many people might be affected by that.
I wish I did. I think a lot of that's going to flow together over the next several months through the implementation plan. How do we implement that? But let me speak to what logically should flow out of this. The 2-year colleges have already done a wonderful job of consolidating some of their administrative services. what we would call support activities, human resources, IT, budgeting, et cetera. We want to expand that throughout the university in a greater way. So we spend less money on support services in terms of administrative support services and shift those resources to the classroom. We think we can do more and more of that. It's part of what we're referring to as a reform agenda. So this fits nicely into that.
What's being done here is being watched all around the country. I noticed some reaction in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel this week from Terry Hartle, who is the executive with the American Council of Education in Washington. You may have seen this quote. He said that the reforms you're talking about are reasonable and appropriate, but then went on to say, and I'm quoting now, it's a recognition that the state of Wisconsin is not going to have as robust a system of higher education as it had in the past. What's your response to that?
Well, I differ with Terry. I know Terry. I think that it's going to take a different approach, and I think what he means by as robust, it's not going to be all things to all people everywhere. We're going to have to find new ways of delivering, supporting, and providing programs, courses, and services without all of the administrative structure. And I think that's what he's referring to. We won't be as robust, I think that's his term. But I find that to be contradictory because in our world, we're trying to expand the third year and fourth year coursework on these two-year campuses.
There has been some reaction. I think I would describe it as somewhat muted. People have not come out and said this is an awful idea, but people have a lot of questions. One thing you do hear is from some faculty members, from some students, they said, you know, Wisconsin's about the idea of shared governance, that we have a say in this, and yet we kind of feel like we were surprised by this. We didn't know this big a change was being discussed. In retrospect, was there anything that you could have done differently to involve faculty, to involve students in this decision?
Well, first of all, that's actually a true statement because we did work on this without bringing a lot of input in, but we were working and securing information from different research groups, particularly around demographics, impact on enrollment trends, what's the correlation, what actions have been done in the past, what's being done in other states, Georgia, Pennsylvania, elsewhere. And then we did speak to business leaders and other community leaders. We spoke to some folks around the state in different ways, but we were also hearing unprompted kinds of responses. You need to do something about this structure. This has got to change. This is not a long-term sustainable structure. So from my perspective, I think it was important to say, here's where we're going, here's the goal, here's why. Now I need your help. Let's work together to pull this into a very workable and doable process within this time frame.
UW System President Ray Cross, it's good to have you on the program today. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks, Mike.
And you can see my entire interview with UW System President Cross on our website, the Upfront section of WISN.com. The latest Democrat to enter the race for governor says he'll try to undo much of what Governor Walker has done. I'll be talking with Matt Flynn next on Upfront. And later, getting ready for Foxconn, what an area technical college is doing to prepare for the Taiwanese tech giant. That's when Upfront continues.
Upfront with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association.